Okay.
All right. Hi guys, I'm Sean. This is Alyssa.
Gus is in our hearts, and this is Internet Rabbit Hole Daily. Oh, hit the wrong button there.
Getting a little rusty.
While.
We took 2 days off, and look what happens, right? We can't remember how to work the board.
Out of practice.
That's right. It's okay. We'll sort of warm up as we go here. So we are back, folks, and we are reacting to something that our good friend Ambardeep has been asking for a long time.
For too long. It's taken us too long.
I know. So we're finally getting to it. Now, if you guys don't know Ambardeep Singh, you probably should. Ambardeep is a good friend of the channel and actually started our subreddit.
He made the subreddit.
Yeah. So we wanted to thank him a whole lot for that. And check out this video that he recommended. And so this one is about a Sikh festival. Now, the name of the festival is Hola Mohalla. And it says Hola Mohalla, also called Holla, is a 3-day-long Sikh festival which normally falls in March and takes place on the second day of the lunar month of Chet, a day after the Hindu spring festival Holi, but sometimes coincides with Holi. Is that how you say it? Holi? Yeah. And
Hola and then Holy. Wow, it's like close in name.
Now, we're familiar more so with the Hindu festival. They're sort of, as I understand, celebrating the arrival of spring. They're always throwing that colored powder on each other and just having a great time.
We should do a video on that because I don't know.
Definitely should.
I don't know all the details.
No, neither do I. I'm just scratching at the edges.
It's kind of like, is it similar at all to like, the festival in Italy where they
just throw tomatoes at you?
But this one, it's like colorful, like powder.
No, it seems to be really a festival of love, and it's something that we see a lot more so in the West here. Because I think Westerners, we like to go to India and then get all that powder on us, take pictures, put it on Facebook, all that good stuff. But anyways, we're here checking out a different festival, Hola Mohalla. And as I understand, there may be some martial arts involved. So
awesome.
This should be a whole lot of fun. Let's load this up.
Totally not a Ferris wheel. In the photo, there was just something. I was like, is that like a Ferris wheel behind him? Like,
imagine.
There's like rides. That'd be fun.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I imagine there's just about everything.
I think he was doing something. Yeah, I think it was part of the martial arts.
Okay. Well, let's find out here. They would consider it a fair. Because we've got a fair that comes to town as well too, but it is mostly just, rides and carnival games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just making sure we have the highest resolution possibly.
Music is such a big part of the Sikh faith.
This is Anandpur Sahib, a town in the northern state of Punjab. For the last 300 years, this is where the festival of Hola Mohalla has been celebrated each year in springtime. A 6-day fair precedes Hola, which falls a day after Holi.
Month of Palgan.
History chose the role of heroes and martyrs for the followers of the Sikh Gurus. Between Guru Nanak, the first Guru of the Sikhs, and Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th and the last Guru, stretched an eventful period of about 200 years, marked by a period of terrible religious fanaticism and oppression let loose by the despotic oligarchy of the later Mughal period.
Love seeing all those colorful turbans.
Yeah. What? That must be so heavy. Do you think his hair's like really, 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 really long?
Maybe.
Hola Mohalla was first celebrated in the time of Guru Gobind Singh. The festival has been seen as a grand stratagem devised by the Guru to shake the oppressed out of their lethargy and helplessness in the face of oppression and to inspire them to arise and fight back. The ceremonies included mock battles enacted in full uniform.
Oh, interesting.
Since then,
During
it is celebrated
battles?
in the
Mock
same
battles.
manner.
Mock battles.
Yeah. So what he was what I seemed to get there was that the festival is to sort of
Pump them up.
Pump them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then part of the ways they do
Like a
that
motivational
is
thing.
sort of military sort of games, if you will. I think.
Oh yeah. Okay.
गुरु जी की लोड़ होवे गुरु जी की दया होवे गुरु भी जा होवे जैसे दशमेश पिता माता गुजरी के लाल जी वार तो हम बच्चे ताई वार परवान
Yeah. Geez. Yeah. His 4 sons.
कुर्बान वार वार जी अमृत दा सोमा होवे तो पद्यां नु ठार देवे संतां दा साहित्य प्यारियां दी ढाल जी सत श्री अकाल
It's like a war cry almost.
Is he using? Oh no. I thought he was using 2 swords to play the drums because it looked like it was curved.
I don't know if that would work, but
I think it was just the shadows.
Yeah. No. I think you were just seeing things there.
What if he like multitasked and he was like cooking and playing the drums and then like slicing and
I don't-
dicing, like, doing all these things?
Things that go on in her head, people. You've got to be so well trained with that stuff, you know? These aren't toy swords that they're playing with here.
At the Hola festival at Anandpur Sahib have through the years served to reaffirm in the Sikh devotees
Wow, look at that, the coordination.
of their faith, that the sway of evil is to be eternally challenged by a spirit of idealism and supreme heroic endeavor on the part of the good and the holy.
Beautiful day. It's like sunset.
Yeah.
I guess it goes all day.
Perhaps they're referring to a famous Sikh there.
कृपान खंडो खड़का
Oh, Kirpan, I think he said.
तीर सैफ सरोही साथी यही हमारे पीर पीर तुही साथी तुही तबर तलवार नाम तहारो जो जपे पह सिंध पो पार काल तुही काली तुही तेज यार तीर तुही निशानी जीत की आज तुही जग वीर गज गज कर अग जावे फतेह पावे गुरु हरगोबिंद साहब नु पावे
And it must be so awesome to actually have the real words of your guru. It's not something that was, written maybe hundreds of years after they passed or anything like that. It's, sort of his actual words from pen to paper to your mouth. I'm always so impressed by that.
It's not interpreted in that over and over.
Yeah.
It's in the same language, right?
That's a good question. I suspect it is.
It'd be in Punjabi, for sure, right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
Man, oh man.
I didn't even see the sword.
It's going so quick,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't even see it. Like it just looked like he was doing that.
They've got to have tremendous muscle memory, right? Because
Oh, bow and arrows.
The sword is worshipped as an emblem of self-respect, invoked as the incarnation of the all-pervading power that stands by the Sikh hero in his ongoing fight against the forces of tyranny.
Wow.
These weapons were used by Guru Gobind Singh. The correlation of war weapons with their avowed
The actual legit weapons.
I wonder.
Or
No, I
just
think he was saying these types of weapons were used. Yeah.
But do they have artifacts from like the actual?
You know what? I don't
guru?
know if they do, and I don't know how if that's something that they would sort of want to cultivate because then because the gurus are so humble, right? That they might not. I don't know. We'll have to ask you guys.
Maybe they're kept somewhere in a
destroying
museum.
evil and upholding dharma on the one hand, and with legendary figures on the other, builds up a world of gods and heroes and demons ever engaged in strife and struggle.
Ehe sevavar mohe eha shubh karman te kabohu na taro. Na daru ar soja bujaye naru nischa kare apne jeta karo. Ar sikha ho apne hi man kaue hai lalach ha gun ta ucharo. Jave aave ki aud nidan banaya ta hiran mata vajuj maro. सत श्री अकाल खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले खालसा सोए दुष्ट को गाले खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले खालसा सोए जो निंदा त्यागे
The Nihangs are a familiar sight at the
Nihangs.
festival with their startlingly unconventional dress that has remained unchanged through the centuries.
I was going to say their
and a
outfits are so
devil-may-care
bright.
attitude towards life.
And their
They are the
attitude towards
mainstay
life.
of the festival. Each year, they pitch their tents days before the event and prepare to stage the mock battle of Hola Mohalla.
Ah.
The Nihangs are known to be very staunch and unflinching in their loyalty to the traditions set by the founder of their order.
Staunch? What does that mean?
Nahang. Sikhs. Did it say
Stork?
staunch?
Does it mean like stork?
No,
Doesn't stork mean like sort of strong?
Did he say staunch in his belief? So that's, strong in their beliefs.
Oh, in the beliefs.
I think that's what they said. We could go back a smidge in there and
Just haven't heard that word.
listen again.
Their tents days before the event and prepare to stage the mock battle of Hola Mohalla. The Nihangs are known to be very staunch and unflinching in their loyalty to the traditions set by the founder of their order.
So they're
Firm in their
very
beliefs.
firm in their beliefs. And this isn't the first time we've heard about this particular, I guess, branch or section of Sikhism.
Yeah, Nihang.
We've seen a couple of videos on that before. We even saw them show up with the farmers' protest where they were at the border making their presence known.
Yeah.
Guru Gobind Singh. They are believed not to deviate from the orthodox Sikh faith in any matter of doctrine or ritual. A cherished tradition is that of the free kitchen, the langar, open to all and sundry. The Nihangs take the lead here. The community pitches in and helps feed the millions who come to the fair. The
Millions.
community eating at langars was the Guru's way of affirming the equality of all human beings.
ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ ਦੇਗ ਤੇ ਜਗ ਮੈਂ ਦੋ ਚਲੈ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਪੰਥ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ ਦੇਗ ਚਲਾਣੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੰਗਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਨੂੰਵਾਲ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਉਧਰ ਵੀ ਬੀਕਾਨੇਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਲੰਗਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਨਗਾਰੇ ਤੇ ਚੋਟ ਲਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਰਤਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਅੱਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਨਗਾਰੇ ਤੇ ਚੋਟ ਲਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਨਗਾਰਾ ਵਜਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਲ ਦਾ ਸੂਚਨਾ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਭਾਈ ਲੰਗਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਲੰਗਰ ਛਕੋ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਬੇਸ਼ੱਕ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣ ਦਾ ਮੁਸਲ ਪਠਾਨ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਲੰਗਰ ਛਕਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਛਕ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਮਨਾਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਸੱਦਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ
पीरनी के पीर मैंने देखे हैं गुरु गोबिंद नबियों के नबी और वलियों के वली थे जंग के जतइये भारे ते के चलइये बहुत रण खेत जाके वो मचाते तरसली थे मुक्ति के दानी वो ज्ञानी सब लोग इनके दुखियों के दुख वो मिटाते भांत भली थे हिंदुओं के राम और बौद्धियों के बुद्ध पी थे खालसे के गुरु और मोमनों के अली थे हिंदू और मुसलमान आदमी औरत मिल फूल बरसाते गुरु जाते जिस गली थे करक जावे निहाले जावे
What was that they were looking at there, I wonder?
For the Nihang is growing the beard a tradition too, I think.
Well, they were saying that they are the most sort of ardent subscribers to the faith or that they follow sort of all the traditional rules as opposed to...
Well, I was noticed they all look so healthy, like their skin's so like nice and they eat such natural food, I think, and stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it's part of that would be the adherence to those traditional practices. Whereas, as with other faiths, there's sort of more modern folks who might, or modern interpretations, I should say, of how to do things.
Akhand Bahandang Khaldal Khandang Adana Mandam Barpandang Koi Jande Khandang Tej Khandang Jota Mandam Patravang Sukh Santa Karanang Surmat Karanang Kalva Karanang Jai 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 Karan Prativaran Man Prativaran Jai Begam Jai Begam Sri Jai Begam Gaj Gaj Garang Yahweh Nalo Yahweh.
I was actually just thinking just how much fun it must be and it's how invigorating it must be to sing those songs when you know them.
Yeah, it's like, I guess the only thing I could relate to is in yoga, there's like some, what is it, like chant?
Yeah.
It might be in Hindi.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I only know like little parts, like there's just like everyone, like I was in the class, like everyone was just like reciting this word for word, like knew the whole thing. And I was just sitting there like trying to like follow along. And I was like, man,
I know that one of my favorite parts of going to church, for example, is when everybody gets to sing. And if you know the song, usually it's got the
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
That was like my childhood. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I loved it.
We had like a rock Christian vibe going on. We had like more of a modern church, like the pastors wore jeans and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
really
the sort
conform.
of church that I was going to for a while.
I don't really conform to Christianity or like any one religion.
No,
nowadays,
I mean neither do I, but I certainly love singing.
It was a nice change from like the Greek Orthodox Church, which was just like I didn't know the words. Oh, well, it was actually Ukrainian. Like my family was Greek Orthodox and the Greek person was only in like once a month. So every other Sunday they literally sat there listening to like a Ukrainian priest that they couldn't understand either. It was so boring. It was like 2 hours sitting there.
Well, this doesn't look boring at all. I'm really liking this.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Here's the mock battle stuff, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
His turban's so bright. I want that color. Like a fluorescent green.
You can just imagine if they were actually in battle, hey?
The shields are pretty small, hey? Yeah. Then you can move them around way faster.
Yeah, you must need real accuracy with something like that.
Whoa.
I guess the idea is you probably aren't supposed to use your shield too much, you know, because you're supposed to be on the offense.
The people look so close, like standing around. I'm like, oh my God, like, be careful.
Look at that
they know what they're doing. What? How old is he, like 5? Oh my gosh.
Shit.
ਇਸ ਬਸੰਤ ਦੇ ਹੋਲੇ ਮਹੱਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਸ ਮਹੱਤਵਤਾ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਉਣਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਥੋਂ ਬਰੋਸਾਵਣਗੇ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਚਾਨਣਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਦੋ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਗਿਆਨ ਵੀ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ
oh, that's an interesting way of doing it. Sort of like if you just teach them spiritual stuff, then they can't defend themselves. And if you just teach them how to, fight, then maybe they might do that in nefarious ways. And so if you do both, then it balances
like the integration. It's like this is literally only used
for good,
like defense and protection.
And interestingly, as soon as we say that, this next one says use the sword for good.
ਉਹ ਹੈ ਤਸ਼ੱਦਦੀਆਂ ਲਈ ਅਧਰਮਾਂ ਲਈ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾ ਔਰੰਗਜ਼ੇਬ ਹੋਣੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੀ ਉਸਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾਨ ਤੋਂ ਗਲਤ ਕੰਮ ਲਿਆ ਆਤਮ ਗਿਆਨ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾਨ ਤੋਂ ਭਲਾ ਕੰਮ ਲਿਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਿਉਹਾਰ ਨੇ ਜੈਸੇ ਹੋਲਾ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਲਾ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਮਤ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤੋਂ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਤੋੜਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਸ਼ਕਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰਧਾਰੀ ਸੈਨਾ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਮਾਰਚ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ
ਸਨ they attend holy too
ਆਪਣਾ ਹੋਲੇ ਮਹੱਲੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਦਾ ਕਰਤੱਵ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਤਿਉਹਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਨਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਲੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਔਰ ਇਸ ਤਿਉਹਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਪੰਥ ਨੇ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਮੁਗਲਾ ਆਏ ਅਬਦਾਲੀ ਆਇਆ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਆਇਆ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਜੰਗਾਂ ਯੁੱਧਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਇਮ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ
Well, were Mughals, wasn't that Muslim?
Yeah.
And that, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're saying they still had their celebration despite the fact they were engaged in warfare. Wow.
Basically yeah. But it was like to pump everyone up too.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, for example, we cancel the Olympics when there's a war going on. It's.
Yeah. Well, I'd be scared that they would attack the celebration.
Yeah, or you're sort of diverting resources from the front line and stuff. You got to be, clearly it's a very significant part of Sikh life. Okay, at least they sent a platoon.
What's that? Like hey, war's off for this time?
No, it means that they've sent a group of men, like a platoon. It's sort of how you split up the army into different groups so that you can coordinate and etc.
To guard it?
No, I think the platoon was sent to the festival to represent probably the armed fighters on the front line, and they would just be part of the celebrations.
Okay.
ਸਾਰੇ ਦਿਸ਼ਾ ਤੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸਨ
ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਜਪ ਜਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਜਪਦੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਜਪ ਜਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਜਪਦੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਹਜ਼ਾਰੇ ਰਹਿ ਰਾਸਤੇ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੱਟ ਦੇਣ ਸਗਲੇ ਕਲੇਸ਼ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਹਜ਼ਾਰੇ ਰਹਿ ਰਾਸਤੇ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੱਟ ਦੇਣ ਸਗਲੇ ਕਲੇਸ਼.
That's cool.
These guys are good.
They're doing the duet. Like they're going back and forth.
They recite Kachi Bani.
Oh, we got to go back there. We were too busy yakking.
Oops.
Sorry, guys.
These are Kavishas who practice the art of poetry recitation. They recite Kachi Bani, or the religious lore developed by the people themselves.
Oh, religious lore.
I thought they said law.
Developed by the people. Oh, okay, maybe.
They're really good.
How do they take a breath? It's like the lines are so long.
I think that's why they need two guys, right? Because I was actually thinking about that.
There's no pause. Yeah,
yeah,
the
it's
guy
just one after the other.
Right in.
Yeah, wow.
A pervasive theme of heroic endeavor, travail and sacrifice permeates through the folklore, song and poetry of the Sikh masses, crystallizing the image of the hero and the martyr. People come to Anandpur Sahib over and over again for the feeling of self-confidence and bravado created in them by the reiteration of the conviction that history has chosen for them the role of liberators and heroes. Here, they partake an ambience which reinforces the feeling in them of being equal to all as they sit to eat, commoners and elite together.
So many people.
And they come perhaps to renew their readiness to sacrifice their individual interests to uphold those of the community.
मैं 25-30 साल में साइकिल ते आया. साइकिल ते आयो? साइकिल ते अमृतसरों. अमृतसरों में 10 मील लगे.
So that's where the Golden Temple is.
Amritsar.
आंदे ते महाराज दी कृपा नाल इक्के दिन ते आउंदा 2 दिन ही आउंदा. अगले साल भी आओगे? हां जे महाराज जिंदगानी रखे फिर आवांगे.
Oh, whoa.
Are they drinking a special
Yeah, looks
tea or
like
something?
it. Some sort of special beverage there.
Yeah.
The path of righteousness is tough. The holy are helped to
That's what they
sustain
use
their
to
spirit
stir
from the
it.
difficult
And it's
path
like weighted,
with the
right?
liberal dose of the shaheed.
Oh, so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that must
It's
take a while to get
huge.
used to. Yeah, holy. I think it's
Like, it's-
perhaps even used to grind.
Because it's weighted at the top, so then you can sort of,
Yeah.
wow.
The path of righteousness is tough. The holy are helped to sustain their spirits on the difficult path with a liberal dose of the shahidi deg, or the drink of martyrs.
Oh,
A
it's going
delicious
so
concoction
fast.
made by grinding almonds, melon seeds, saffron petals, a handful of cloves, and cardamom, mixing them with milk before adding the most important ingredient, leaves of hemp and intoxicating herbs.
Yeah.
Intoxicating.
So we there was quite a bit of discussion around this when we watched one of the other videos actually that Ambardeep had sent to us. So yeah, this is fascinating. This is the first time, as far as I know, though, that we've been seeing it made, and that
like
they actually clarified, as to what's in it.
A hallucinogenic?
I don't believe so. I think it might have some mild effects, but
okay.
that's sort of the impression I got from the comments. You guys will let us know. Okay, we're recording. Okay.
Nihangs have traditionally imbibed the shahidi deg, perhaps for facilitating transcendental meditation, but most certainly to be able to ascend to the heights of daring in the battlefield.
To ascend to the heights of daring in the battlefield.
Fed to the gills with this intoxicating brew, the Nihangs go through the motions of preparing themselves.
Is it like
for the
alcohol?
symbolic march.
Intoxicating?
You know what? I don't think so, because I don't.
That's
I
not
think it would
part
be
of
the
Sikh
sort of
faith, aren't they? Don't they abstain from?
Well,
a lot of Sikhs do.
There's
some don't.
there's sometimes there's what would you call it? The rules aren't always so firm. Like, for example, they don't really eat meat, for example. They don't eat meat. But if they're battling and they need food and they need sustenance to conquer the enemy, and, there are exceptions made.
Yeah.
And I suspect that the intoxication, well, if it's coming from hemp or coming from marijuana as opposed to coming from alcohol, it's going to be sort of a different sensation.
Yeah.
But it does sound like it in part sort of makes one more fearless on the battlefield.
Yeah.
It gives them... And now let's go back just a couple of seconds there, because we did miss a little bit here.
Fed to the gills with this intoxicating brew, the Nihangs go through the motions of preparing
Give it to the
themselves
horses.
for the symbolic march to the battlefield.
So like they're christening the blade.
It is said that the war cries of the Nihangs would create a surcharged atmosphere, a kind of battle psychosis in the midst of which the warrior could fearlessly give himself up to the passion of fighting a righteous war in answer to the call of his guru.
No fear, death. Is this festival a number of, was it 6 days they said?
I was getting
said
some
it was 6
confusion
days.
there. I think they were almost saying that something happened 6 days before the
they
festival.
set
I
up-
believe this
they set
festival
up
is 3 days long.
They set up the tents.
Yeah.
6 days prior.
I think it's
thought.
3 days, but you guys will let us know. Oh, Guru Nanak said that. Wow.
महाराज की चढ़ती कला में होला महला निकलूगा ਇਹਦੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਦਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਅੰਤ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਪਾਇਆ ਦੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਦਾ ਉਹੀ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਬਾਂਗੀਆਂ ਮੌਜਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਲਕੋ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਬਿਰਦਵਾਣੇ ਦੀ ਸੋਢੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀਓ ਤੇਰਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜਪਿਆ ਕਾਲਿਆਕਾਰ ਜਗਾਰੇ ਬੁਲਾਵੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਕਲਗੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪਿਤਾ ਦੇ ਮਨ
Wow, this is the sense of community, you know?
And they're walking around.
They're so unified.
Looks like there's like houses there behind them.
It is time for the Mohalla, the march to the battlefield in a warlike procession.
Oh, so they were just going
preparations
straight
for the
from there.
enactment of the mock battles and for the Mohalla are engaged in like a religious rite.
Also, now maybe they're going to do a mock thing when they're going to the battlefield.
Yeah, it
now.
sounds like this might be a culmination or at least one of the focal points of the festival.
What? Was that like rope or something?
Haha,
So cute. I love his little shield on his back.
Ah, the brightly colored powder there.
I wonder what it is.
Oh!
आयो ऋतु राज जो सुहायो है जहान सारो आयो है प्रमोद दुख एक हूँ न तोला है आज होला है कि तू न घाम तेज चंद्र का गुलाबी खंड शीतल सुगंध
Oh, wow. The horse is jumping.
आज होला है कंज में प्रफुल्ल हुए किए जो कुमान प्यारी हौसले हुलास बीच बीच तो कलोला है आज होला है देवी देव सिद्ध की लोक में प्रसिद्ध होली
Hopefully it doesn't like get in your eyes. I think it just sort of... Does it evaporate or something?
I don't know. Oh! Whoa. Wow, he's playing drums. Whoa. Right on the horses.
Like portable drum.
Yeah. What a procession, though. Holy. The old mixed with the new. You hear some of the car horns in the background, right?
Yeah.
The Mohalla has about 3 kilometers to traverse before it comes to the bed of the river Charanganga, where the Nihangs will display their martial arts as they have for nearly 3 centuries.
वाहन चिंगारे रहे बाजते निगारे रहे गारी पूम डारे रहे मूड जुत ताज के संगते आबाद रहे आवते प्रसाद रहे बाडे आहलाद रहे धर्म सो काज के गादियां टल रहे चौकियां चल रहे बूंगे चला चल रहे साहत समाज के लागते दीवान रहे गावते सुजान रहे झूलते निशान रहे पंथ महाराज के.
It is the show of the Nihang Singhs. As they charge an imaginary enemy, we see the vision of a people that are both survivors and repositories of a remarkable
They're
tradition
going real
that has
fast.
become available to us in a living form through them today.
We've seen some of this stuff before. It always just... Whoa! I haven't seen that, though.
That's scary. The horses have to like run exactly the same.
Unreal.
What is that?
Oh.
What was that?
Wow, he picked up like his weapon from the ground.
Oh.
That's incredible. Maybe they just hit the thing. They hit the thing to maybe as a show of skill. I don't know. Wow. Wow. Well, we learned a whole lot there. Certainly a whole bunch of stuff that we hadn't heard or seen before.
This looks like an interesting conversation. Oops.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, gosh, there's so much to dig into, isn't there?
Art and yoga in Sikhism and Hinduism.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go. I mean, we have an endless list of things that we need to get to.
Did we shout out the channel?
We did not. So this is Nihang Singh Fauj, BC. So I wonder if that stands for British Columbia.
Yeah.
Because that could be maybe, within our region, because we are from the province of BC.
That was really interesting and good to know more about the Nihang.
So yeah, there was a few, just about Sikhs in general.
And Sikhism,
I think there was some things there. Now, I will level with you guys. I've been learning about the gurus. I've been listening to this podcast series that's available on Audible. So Audible is like a subscription service. You usually pay a certain amount per month and you get to download ebooks or audiobooks. But they also have podcasts now. So I've been listening to sort of the history of the Sikhs. I'm all the way up to Guru Arjan. The fifth guru. Hopefully I'm Devji. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
I should listen. I haven't really been. We should listen maybe together every night or something.
Because the one thing I was thinking about while watching this is he was basically boiled alive, and this was over as I understand it, a protracted period of time.
By who?
I believe it was. Yeah, it was the enemy. Who didn't like his influence, as I understand it. And the one thing I was thinking about there was how they were talking about, how whatever God gives you, you're sort of thankful for that, or maybe not thankful, but you sort of...
make do.
You make do. You sort of take it in stride. You don't get angry.
Oh, the suffering thing?
Yeah, the suffering thing, yeah. So there was a few things that it's sort of, I'm starting to piece together all of these different things, and it sort of enriches, everything that we watch regarding Sikhism, because now you know a bit more and you can sort of connect the dots. Wow. Well, thank you, guys. And the other thing that I also really picked up from that was how their scripture or their verses are meant to be sung, and that's as I understand it, it's the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book, the 11th Guru, that those verses are meant to be sang, not spoken. So I'm sure that maybe both can happen, but
I think that's in multiple religions, it seems.
I think part of that is because it was once an oral, a lot of old faiths, I don't know about Sikhism because it was in more modern times, if you will, but there was that sort of oral culture, and singing something meant that you could transfer it in a way that was...
someone would remember it.
Yeah, as opposed to just, a few paragraphs. Well, now you can turn that into a song, and maybe people are more likely to be able to remember it, recite it, pass it on. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ambardeep. We appreciate that a whole lot. We hope you guys like that a whole lot. And if you did, well, then we're going to ask you to click that subscribe button. Click the little bell icon. Choose all from the drop-down menu so you can get updated every time I upload a new video.
If you enjoyed this video, please let us know by clicking the thumbs up button. And you can leave your thoughts in the comments down below. We'd like to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
You can send in recommendations to our email, irhsubtitles@gmail.com. But lately, the subreddit has been where it's at.
It's been popping, as the kids.
It's just like a bit easier.
It's over like 500 people now.
Thank you guys.
Wow.
And it's just a little bit easier, I think, because we can sort of scroll through and like see you can embed the links in.
Well, what's really handy is that you can sort it by popularity. So the ones, if you want to see what people are uploading, you can view it in that way. And then we know what everybody wants us to check out.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to support the channel in other ways, we do have some donation links down there. If you can afford to do so, every dollar counts. This sort of stuff takes time and money. And I guess the more money we got, the more time we got to spend it with you guys.
We're still looking into the UPI.
We love you a whole lot. This is
method.
Internet Rabbit Hole Daily. RH signing off.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.